This is Stalker, Call of Pripyat. We're here on Xbox Series X. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this is the third and final part of the trilogy package for the Stalker series. You can buy the games by themselves, or you can buy them as a trilogy compilation if you want to get all of them. This one is the most recent in terms of the design and the concept here. Why is it trying to tell me to go over there when the objectives are... Anyways, doesn't really matter. So this one is not currently optimized. It's going to be down the road. They're going to be doing a proper update for it. So we'll be swinging back and checking that out when the time comes. And then we're also supposed to have mod support and whatnot too, which should be interesting. So for now, what are we getting here? It's a 4K resolution, 60 FPS. You can adjust that and cap it off at 30 if you'd like to, and adjust the motion blur if that is of interest to you. So this game is kind of interesting. It's basically like an open world, fully open world take. Like, you can kind of see the evolution of the different games if you play them one after another as they kind of go, you know, bopping along in terms of like the advancements and the changes and stuff like that. And this is the one that fully embraces the open world design fully in comparison to the previous entries. It's still kind of like, I guess you would say, hub type scenarios, if that makes sense. Like, you go from area to area, but it is quite open in its approach. Kind of like Fallout 3, I would sort of say. A little bit of Call of Duty 4 like shooting in this one. I'd say the shooting is a little bit more refined and more comparable to the modern era in comparison to other ones. It's still have this really annoying stamina meter that just like drives me crazy, but it's something you deal with. And it's like a role-playing kind of game too, in the sense that you have to keep up like your health. You got to make sure you're not bleeding. You don't want to get sick. Stuff gets damaged. There's radiation poisoning. You might find some cool anomalies where there's some cool stuff you run into. You never know. So yeah, it's kind of an intriguing game. I do wish there was a bit more early on kind of like guidance in terms of telling you your direction and stuff like that. Behind the transport lock, okay. I take it we have to go over there to that building to go and get that stuff. Okay. So, yeah, early on I was a little confused as to what I was doing and my goals and stuff like that, and there's like this weird spots where you have to somehow just like sit in a bunker area for a bit, and then eventually you're able to, I guess, press forward and stuff, and there's all this crazy storms and things going on, and, you know, it's got like, I think to some degree, dynamic weathering and time of day and stuff. Like, it's, you know, you'll play at night, you'll see storms come in and like rain, and it gets all creepy looking. Like, I had last done this and it was like daytime, like very, very daytime. And right now it's got a bit more of a murky kind of feeling to it. The texture work and stuff is really great in this too. This is a good area for kind of talking about that. Is that for a game of its time? And you got to remember, like, this is a game of its era. I would say it actually, like, visually holds up decently well. Now, these are hard games. I do recommend playing on the casual, easygoing difficulty. This one's a little better in that regard compared to the ones that come before it, the predecessors, as this one actually does seem to have some level of saves and whatnot integrated within it. But at any point, you know, I do recommend, if you've done a bit and you're kind of like not so sure about your lifespan and stuff. Oh my god, these guns. This is like constantly. You can do a save game so that you are, you know, not losing your progress and everything like that. I think it's pretty helpful. Yeah, you gotta manage your bandages. That's where there's some role-playing type stuff in this one too. So you're trying to find out the reason behind some disappearances and some personnel. You've got to explore these different regions and figure things out. This one does feature a lot more pop-in. Like, I guess they all kind of have a bit of pop-in going on, but this one has a lot. I don't know if you've kind of seen that when I'm running through it, and they're like a ghosting of the far back environment. But I think that's just kind of how it handles the the world and the loading and everything like that. So kind of intriguing. And this one, as I said, is the most modern. I think from a perspective of like, I think I like the first one kind of more because it's tighter and a bit more focused. This one gets really kind of boring because you're just kind of like walking around. But the more I've played this one, the more I'm kind of interested and intrigued by it. Just because of the sort of scale of it. Like, it's open, but it's not like massively open. Like, it's got some level of focus to it. I find it interesting. I really do. And, you know, like being a stalker game, there is an element of like creepiness, not just in the concept of being, you know, stalker and stalked and whatnot, but like in the sense of there being supernatural elements and some crazy things that have gone on in this area that you're having to contend with and deal with. I think that in itself is rather fascinating. Like, I definitely think there is some intriguing stuff going on in this one. And it's just kind of like, it is a bit of a fetch quest kind of game, like a bit of a walking sim. Like, you walk from one area to another, you collect an item, you go about your day, your character occasionally talks about things. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, like, you're kind of confronting the chimera, the fearsome predator, and, like, yeah, I kind of like it, to a degree. The second one I found, like, really kind of annoying and overly difficult and stuff, but I do kind of like the premise and the concept of these games. Well, I think the concept and the premise of these games is really awesome. But it is kind of a little bit frustrating at times, some of the stuff you have to contend with and deal with, and you're just kind of like, ugh. And it just kind of makes it a little bit tedious. I would love some quality of life kind of upgrades. Like, I know this is an original game where, again, it is of its time, you know, with the setting and the supernatural stuff. And, like, that, I think, is all cool. And I think this one would be your best precursor to the next Stalker, like Stalker 2. Which is kind of funny because this is the third one, like I've mentioned, right, of that trilogy. But there is a Stalker 2 coming, which is like a direct sequel. So this one, to me, seems like the best precursor to kind of getting ready for that ambience and style, because I'm assuming they're going to adapt this element of like non-linear open kind of gameplay and just sort of upgrade it and enhance it for the second one, which I am, as I've mentioned, very, very excited for. Very much looking forward to. Yeah, this one just looks way I like it better in the day. Like, well, this mood feels right here, but I do like the feeling of this one a bit better when it's daytime. I think we got to enter this building from this side, if I'm not mistaken. So we got up there, went on that level. Oh no, not again. That was some impressive vertical. Like, I gotta give it to that dog. That was impressive. I wish I could take this dog and, like, train it to work with me, because that was, wow, that was quite a leap. Oh, and this area is blocked off by the barbed wire. So we need to, I don't want to go into the concrete bath anomaly. So we need to somehow get around here and get down in there, but it's blocked off. So there's got to be like an entrance way to sneak over and kind of get around, investigate the area, and look for information concerning the underpass. Because this building, I don't think connects to this building, unless I'm mistaken on that. Nothing's ever easy. They always kind of like block off the ways for which you're more easily able to like actually like find what you're looking for. And yeah, like, I guess we can go in this building. It'll look cool for ambience and discussion anyways. So there is a good amount of gameplay to this. It is intriguing. It's an interesting trilogy. It really is. You know, they've all been aged. It's just kind of cool to see it on consoles. You know, I think like most, I didn't really expect to ever get the soccer games on here. Like, that was not something I ever really anticipated, just because of the age of them, and it makes sense ahead of the new one, right, to kind of get people familiar with the series. But I would say the other thing, too, is just kind of like, you know, as I've mentioned many times, I don't think anything is off the table this gen in terms of getting ports and things like that. But it is kind of interesting to get something like this available on the platform. Because it's kind of, it's a cool franchise, like it's a cool series. It's creepy. It's got a good amount of ambience to it. I think there's a lot you can kind of like and enjoy and find and do stuff. And there is fast traveling, but you can only do that if you run into like a random soldier and they're always like, "Oh, put your gun down," and it's like it's an apocalypse, you know, like well, it's an apocalyptic area that we're dealing with. It's like I wouldn't put my gun down around anywhere here. Crazy dogs trying to eat you up and stuff. But it is about, you know, the ambience, the exploration, the discovery, finding those lost secrets, and then really kind of freely exploring in the way that you want to, which is kind of cool. Like you're not having to specifically do anything, but there's not like also a whole lot you can go out of your way to do. There's like random missions you can run into, you know, various soldiers and individuals to go and do. But this one is more, it's not linear, but it is kind of linear, right? It's just this weird style of play to it that is utterly fascinating and intriguing and very different. I do, again, wish there was just a bit more direction on things. And like I do feel like a lot of it is kind of meandering, exploring, taking stuff slowly, trying to figure out where you're going. Alright, so we need to get into that building. So we can't go in here. We're gonna have to go through the destroyed area, I'm guessing, that we went to earlier. In a mission to get like a helicopter thing. I'm guessing that's the only kind of way, because obviously through there doesn't work. Okay. Kind of wish I would have known that before I, you know, because the last time I walked here, I went through this area, I had to go through this whole thing, and well, kind of annoying. So you start this area in like a bit of a swamp place, or this game in a bit of a swamp place, and then you move to more of an industrial area, and there's creatures and unsettling things. Like there's zombies, like literal zombies and other monsters. It's all kind of neat. Like it's really weird. I guess it's spooky. I don't know if I'm usually specifically scared of things going on. This is where I was saying is like I do wish there was a bit more action to this. Like you're not really doing a whole. Sometimes there's gun fights and stuff, but you're just kind of wandering around a lot of it, which kind of again makes me feel a little bit like it's a semi-Fallout experience, but also its own thing. Is the whole design of this to literally make you backtrack here, or is this going to be a dead end for me too? I'm kind of wondering. Which would be hilarious. But yeah, you go through here, you go investigate a helicopter, and then you come back, and you get the helicopter thing checked out, and then I guess I'm back here again, because I'm trying to find a passageway. There's our helicopter. I don't know, it seems like this is more for like a hardcore niche kind of audience. I can definitely see where some folks would find this a little harder to fully get into just due to the design of it and the aging of it. Is this where we need to go? I feel like this would be so hard for a lot of people to kind of get into. So what I'm saying is like there's not a lot of accessibility for those that are kind of coming in fresh and trying to experience things. Like I'd say I'm pretty good at shooter games, and this one I definitely struggle with getting a full scope and sense of like where I'm always going and what I'm doing. It was basically just wandering around at night the first kind of go at this when I was streaming it, and then I'm just kind of sitting here again just being like, just kind of walking along, getting from place to place and stuff, and you know, trying to get to that next objective. I don't think I'm spoiling anything either, just kind of walking about.
The entrance to the underpass is here. If we activate the generator, we'll be able to open the transportation lock.
Okay, so we've got to activate the generator. And you've really got to like lean on your PDA thing in order to do stuff. Game autosave. That's what I was saying, this one actually does give you some autosaves in that. Am I supposed to interact with this terminal, or? I mean, it kind of looks like I'm supposed to. But, oh, now I have an objective over here. Underground path. I must find a technician. So now I have to walk all, all the way back across the game. It's a bit of a walking sim, you know, at times. Look, actually, you know what? It really genuinely reminds me of DayZ in the sense that it's like very mechanical and can we at least walk back this way? Oh, that's a nice shortcut. I appreciate the developer that put that in there. That is appreciated. So it is very mechanical in the sense that like you have to do all this technical stuff, manage all these parts of your character, grab items from other inventories. It's yeah, it really does remind me of that Edge of DayZ, which is kind of funny. And it's got those kind of vibes too. I don't know about this one. I'm so I'm so mixed on this because like part of me is like, ah, I'm really intrigued by this, and then another part of me is like, wow, I'm just like walking about very slowly and aimlessly trying to get from place to place, and it is like mind-numbingly boring. And I don't, yeah, I don't find this one as difficult as the first couple. Like the first game, it's tight combat, you know, more Crisis 1 type scenarios. This one, or second one, is open, but still lots of good stuff going on, lots of like world events, lots of things you're interacting with. And then this one is just kind of like open and you're just kind of slowly walking around. I guess it's supposed to be more of like a cumbersome emotional journey as you're going across this wasteland. Oh, that is so far away. It's so far away. And there is like the odd thing going on and you can interact with the odd thing, but yeah, a lot of the time you're just kind of walking about. It's hard to even have like things to really say about this one because it is you're just adventuring about in this kind of I wouldn't call it an outback, but this like desolate, sad area. Yeah, very Soviet era kind of designs and things, and I like it. I don't know if I love it though. I think with the second one, Stalker 2, when that comes out, I think that one's really gonna kind of hit the mark, if that makes sense. Like, I kind of have a feeling that they're gonna take this formula and just have more stuff going on. And that will be interesting. Because there's a unique plot where you're looking for personnel and what happened to them. And the concept of running into things is kind of cool. It just so happens for the last, I think, literally hour of gameplay, I haven't really interacted with anything but like a dog and a couple soldiers. Like I tried like a first cut at this and I was like, it's kind of not that exciting. Even this, I don't know. At least there's good ambience as I'm exploring and doing stuff, but history wise I'm just kind of sitting there just sort of really casually taking at it. Okay, find a suit with the model thing. Okay, so now we have to go find a suit there. Can I get a, like, ammunition for my gun? Please tell me you have ammo for my SMG here. Really? Nothing? I'm just like, is this... This is good for the SMG. I think it's because I bought all the rounds. I'd love to buy this jacket thing, but like I don't really have the money for it. Nobody ever wants any of my documentation, which kind of hurts my feelings a little bit. Yeah. Like I said, they get all mad if you, you know, have your gun out and stuff. They're all just like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. So, is this literally the tower I'm supposed to go to? I hope you at least found this to be an intriguing look at this. And maybe understood a little bit more of what it has to offer gameplay-wise. I don't know if it'll be for everyone, but it is the most in turn with, I think, what they're trying to achieve with later entries and the one down the road. And yeah, that's kind of the trilogy pack, kind of a neat collection of games.